Stop scrolling. God has a critical message for your finances. In the next 48 hours, a prophesied wealth transfer is being activated, and you need to know if your name is on the list. This isn't just about money appearing in your account. It's about a fundamental shift in the spiritual economy, a divine realignment of resources. For centuries, theologians have debated the nature of blessings, and what is about to happen is not a lottery, but an inheritance. You're being called to step into a new level of stewardship. But first, you must understand if you are positioned to receive it. This is a critical 48-hour window, not of passive waiting, but of active spiritual preparation. The stakes are not just your financial future, but your understanding of God's abundance. Many hear the promises of prosperity, but miss the principles that unlock it. They wait for a transactional miracle, a deposit from heaven, while God is trying to instill a transformational mindset. The truth is, the concept of a divine wealth transfer is one of the most misunderstood in modern faith. It has been used to promise fleeting riches, but its true meaning is far more profound and permanent. It speaks to a biblical principle of restoration and justice, where resources are moved from systems of corruption and idolatry into the hands of those who will use them for kingdom purposes. This isn't about getting rich. It's about being entrusted. The next 48 hours are your opportunity to align your spirit with the frequency of this divine trust. Imagine the feeling of a heavy financial burden, the constant low hum of anxiety about bills and provision. It's a weight on your chest, a cold knot in your stomach. Now, imagine that weight lifting, replaced by a profound sense of peace and security. This is the true blessing God has for you. But what if the blockage to this peace isn't a lack of faith, but a misunderstanding of how God's economy truly works? The popular teaching on prosperity often frames it as a formula. Give $10, get $100 back. This transactional view, as critiqued by theological assessments, can inadvertently commercialize faith, turning prayer into a cosmic slot machine. But the biblical model is agricultural, not transactional. It's about sowing and reaping. A farmer doesn't sow a seed and demand a harvest the next day. They cultivate the soil. They water it, they tend to it, and they trust the process. The soil is your heart, your mindset. Is it fertile ground, ready for a harvest, or is it rocky with doubt and a scarcity mindset? Think of the air. In a dusty, sealed room, stale and stagnant. That is the feeling of a scarcity mindset. Now, imagine throwing open a window to a cool, fresh morning. The air clean and full of possibility. That is the shift to an abundance mindset. The first sign that you are on the list for this divine wealth transfer is a sudden internal aversion to financial gossip and complaint. You'll find yourself turning away from conversations about lack and economic fear. Instead, you'll feel a pull towards stories of generosity and financial wisdom. This isn't just a change in attitude, it's a recalibration of your spirit. You are being tuned to the frequency of heaven's economy, which operates on principles of overflow, not scarcity. This shift is the initial evidence that God is preparing you for greater stewardship. But how does this internal shift translate into tangible action and position you to receive what is being released? The second sign is an undeniable urge to put your own financial house in order. This isn't about legalism. It's about honor. Suddenly, the idea of budgeting, of clearing away old debts, of knowing exactly where your resources are going will feel less like a chore and more like a spiritual act of worship. It's the practical application of the parable of the talents. God is looking for faithful stewards. He cannot entrust a kingdom fortune to someone who is careless with a week's wages. This divine transfer is not a bailout for irresponsibility. It's a promotion for the faithful. The feeling is like cleaning and organizing your home before an honored guest arrives. You do it with joyful anticipation, knowing that the preparation is part of the honor itself. This practical stewardship is the physical proof to heaven that you are ready for more. But there is one final, crucial element that activates the entire process, and it has nothing to do with what you do with your money. The final key that unlocks this divine wealth transfer is a heart of radical generosity. Even before the abundance arrives, you will feel a sudden, spirit-led impulse to give something away, not out of your abundance, but out of your need. It could be a small amount of money, an item you cherish, or your time. This act directly defies the logic of a scarcity mindset, which screams, hoard what you have. This is the ultimate test of faith. It's a declaration that you trust God's supply more than you trust your current resources. The Bible is clear. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. This is not a formula to get rich. It is the fundamental law of God's economic system. Giving from a place of trust breaks the spiritual dam that holds back the flood of provision. It is the final alignment that says to God, I am not a reservoir of your blessing, I am a river. The divine wealth transfer is not a future event you need to wait for, it is a spiritual reality you must step into. The miracle isn't the money, it's the mindset shift from a spirit of poverty to a spirit of stewardship. It is the profound understanding that God's plan is not to make you comfortable, but to make you a conduit. In these next 48 hours, the activation is happening within you. The call is to prepare your heart, to align your actions with the principles of His kingdom, and to position yourself not just to receive a blessing, but to become one. This is the inheritance, the true wealth that can never fade. It is a transformation of your entire relationship with resources, from one of fear and lack to one of peace, purpose, and eternal abundance. The transfer is not from someone else's account to yours. It is a transfer from the world's failing economic system based on fear to God's unfailing one based on faith. The doors are opening right now. The invitation has been sent. Your response in this critical window will determine everything. If you find mysteries of faith like this compelling, consider following for more messages that go beyond promises to provide profound understanding. Here, we don't just share messages, we uncover the divine blueprint for your life.